And hello, welcome once again to another edition of Gaffing the Truth. It's where myself and my good friend Skabz the Clown talk about the weird, the wild, and the wonderful. We talk about conspiracies, talk about ghosts, we talk about cryptids, talk about aliens, we talk about drinking, we talk about drinking, we talk about drinking, but really we just like talking to you guys, and it just gives us a chance to hang out because we don't get to hang out much anymore except this way because we live across the country from each other. How's it going, Scabs? How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Pretty lazy day. I worked on an enclosure and I played some video games.
Very cool. I
Yeah,
worked.
I bought GTA 5 again, so I'm kind of stuck on that.
Oh yeah, that's a really good game. So
Yeah, and this is I only played it on PS4, and this is the one that was or on PS3. This is the one that was for PS4 with all the extra stuff in it. So it's the same, but a lot of
it's
fun little
nicer.
extra perks in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I originally played it on the Xbox 360, and then I picked it up for the one, and I enjoyed replaying. I played through it. I'm one of those weird meticulous when I play video games. I'm like I take my time and I try to track
Mm,
down the story and look through some stuff. And there's still some shit in GTA 5. I need to revisit that again because there's some shit. There's still shit today that people are discovering about that game, which is pretty cool. Especially when you get like the whole alien, they're still trying to figure out all the alien shit in
yeah.
that video game. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's people looking way too deep into the mountain mural, and there's the face on the side of the mountain. I've just read something that they like just discovered in that game. Oh, there was that whole conspiracy about the numbers written on the side of the freeway and shit. God, so much. I mean, it's Rockstar. The same thing with like Red Dead Redemption 2. There's just like shit in that game. Like they're still finding shit in that game too.
yeah, that's very very cool. And that's even without getting into the online stuff. I mean, they're just on their own. The game's their own, which is cool. The online
Mm-hmm.
stuff's pretty fun too. Um, so, any other excitement for you? Anything else going on your end?
No, not really. Working on a new enclosure. That's about it.
All right,
It's
cool.
looking good so far.
Yeah. I caught a few shows this weekend because living here in Coney Island, right here, they over at the Coney Island, USA, where they have the sideshow by the seashore. Uh, they have these late night shows as well. And so on Friday they did a night of 1,000 Harleys. So it was a bunch of burlesquers doing various Harley Quinn acts. And as the big Joker aficionado, uh, I had a good time. And then next day, I went and saw the Oddworld Danger show with our good friends Keita St. Cyr and Rob Romeo and Cyclone Jack Sullivan, and that was a really good show. I mean, there was some amazing stuff I got to see live, and just for you guys watching, you get a chance to see Oddworld Danger show. I think whenever they come touring, which I think they're doing in like late fall, maybe. Last I heard. Go ahead and check them out. It's definitely worthwhile. They'll kick your dick in the dirt, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Mm.
But today, right here in Gaffing the Truth, as we're always talking about weird and wonderful shit. Today, we thought we'd talk. Every month, at the end of the month, we usually talk about one or two subjects. Either we talk about aliens or we talk about ghosts. And we've been branching out a bit. Today, we want to talk about ghosts, but rather than just regular ghost stuff, like just spooky stories, I figured it'd be a good idea for us to talk about actual specific haunted locations across the U.S. We did pretty well talking about Texas specifically, so it'd be kind of fun to talk about stuff elsewhere. Because once again, very interesting. While I personally am not a believer in said things, but I still like a good story. In fact, I'll even lead it off by talking about a good story. I'm going to talk about the Morris Jumel Mansion. It's located right here, here in New York City, Manhattan to be specific. was a stately Georgian mansion in the Washington Heights area that was built by Colonel Roger Morris of the British Army back in 1765. Now, at some point, that actual house served as the military headquarters quarters for both sides of the revolution, uh, with all that sort of like that, and so and as such, and then in 1810, the house was actually bought by a Stephen Jumel, hence Morris Jumel Mansion, and his wife Eliza. And after his quote unquote suspicious death, she remarried in 1832 to a haunted individual of his own right and respect, who was weird. One Aaron Burr.
Mm.
That's right, the former vice president and straight up fucking murderer of Alexander Hamilton. Uh, Now, what's really interesting is like since at least the 1960s, rumors of supernatural stuff has persisted there. Things like some school kids allegedly saw the ghostly village of Eliza Jumel, who actually told them to keep quiet before because they were being loud, before kind of gliding away. Then there's other sightings include things like a talking grandfather clock and a Hessian soldier who's been known to emerge from the walls. I mean, it did serve as a military headquarters, so it doesn't surprise me that a Hessian soldier may have died at that point in time, like that. So yeah, it's right here. I may have to go check that place out. I'm actually rather curious, and only because the actual history of the place, because of the whole military headquarters and like Aaron Burr's like last known residence.
Oh yeah, there's some definitely. There's I've seen some videos and read some stuff about like just old military bases and shit, like just how fucked up, crazy, haunted they can be. Which I mean makes sense. I know there's a bunch of like energy there. There was a whole lot of emotion in places like that. So there's one of the most famous buildings in the U.S. is claimed to be haunted.
All right.
Yeah. When you think of the U.S. and buildings, what's the most famous building you think of?
The most famous building in the U.S. I would think the House on the Rock.
The House of what?
The House on the Rock.
Close, but you're way off.
Yeah. Okay.
The White House.
Oh yeah, of course, the White House.
Yeah, like there's been like numerous sightings from people in like tour groups, people who just work there, just regular staff, see shit all the time. There's paintings that are said to follow you around, but that's any old painting. They just had a way of painting the eyes on those. They say there's paintings that you can see ghosts in. Like if you walk up to it, you can actually see somebody sitting in a chair in the picture, but nobody's in that room at the time. Winston Churchill claims that he saw the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. Ronald Reagan said he saw ghosts. But one of my favorite things about this, have you ever heard of the demon cat of the White House?
No.
No?
It's not just a weird euphemism to John F. Kennedy's junk, is it?
No, not at all. So a legendary demon cat is said to haunt the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. The cat allegedly appears before major tragedies and has reportedly seen by White House guards shortly before both JFK and Abe Lincoln were assassinated. Though the cat hasn't been seen in years, some say a set of paw prints in the floor of the old Supreme Court chamber are proof of its existence. Oh, yeah, I guess when they were laying down the tile or laying down the concrete on the floor, a cat walked by. But it's just like two little paw prints.
Okay. Guess I explain. I mean, does that really explain why Bill Clinton had Socks the cat?
No. Also, like all the reported, like supposed pictures of the demon cat, like it's just like you see this glare, it kind of looks like a cat. It's like no, it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, no. No, yeah, but that's it.
All right, no worries. Okay. Why? So
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait,
keep.
hang on. This story, real quick, about the cat. I remember this one. One day, for instance, a Capitol policeman who integrity is better than his marksmanship reported taking a pot shot at a big black cat that seemed to grow as I looked at it, quote unquote. From his description, the Stygian feline appeared to have the eyes of Eddie Cantor and the generous prosperous of Mae West, plus the disposition of Bela Lugosi. Quote, when I shot at the critter, it jumped right over my head, explained the guard of Capitol traditions and decorum.
So he's fighting. He's like trying to shoot like some weird ass like cartoon.
Yeah, so he's just, walking around like the corridors under the White House, sees a cat, decides to shoot at it for some reason, then it turns into a giant like panther-sized cat and jumps over his head.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time.
Ye- yes. Um. Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. No. I've heard lots of tales of various stuff ranging for the White House as far as lots of stuff haunts. There's talk that like some of the talk in fact is like well a lot of the actual location isn't quote unquote haunted. It's more the fact is there's many objects within the place that is what's causing the hauntings. Like a lot of like there's the reason why people see Abraham Lincoln because there's Abraham Lincoln shit there, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. Because he didn't die there. I mean, Ford Theater would be where he But anyways, but I will talk about a place that did have an assassination in it. I want to talk about the Dakota. So the
The
Dakota is
Dakota.
actually, yeah, the Dakota. So once again, I'm talking about New York because this is where I'm at right now, and so these are places that's on my list to check out. So the Dakota is actually an apartment building in Central Park West, right off of Central Park. One of the two, there's two reasons why this building is famous. First off, it was actually featured in the Roman Polanski film Rosemary's Baby. It's all but a character in that film. If you remember the film very well, they really played up where they're located at. The other reason why is because just outside, right across the street in the park, uh, John Lennon was assassinated. Because that's where John Lennon lived, was the Dakota. Uh, Now, beyond those occasions, like a lot of people have seen stuff within the Dakota beyond that sort of stuff, like. A lot of the workers and residents have reported seeing a really friendly little girl in turn of the century clothing because all ghosts have to be at least from turn of the century. I think that's required. Uh, I would love to see some weird Britney Spears fan be the ghost going, oh my God, Britney, but it hasn't happened yet. Somebody else saw an adult with the face of a small boy. And then, of course, a lot of people said that John Lennon, haunts the hallways of the Dakota. So, yeah, the Dakota.
The Dakota. Hmm.
I've actually seen the outside of the building. Like when before I moved here, I went walked around Central Park. I actually saw the outside. And they pointed out. And they go, yeah, there's the Dakota and stuff like that. I go, oh, that's pretty cool. The weird shit like that is what I was the two buildings I was really curious about was that one and the one where Ghostbusters was filmed at. That's what I cared about.
Yeah, I do want to see the firehouse.
Ooh. Yeah, no, not the firehouse, like like the building, like the big building. I could have went to the firehouse too, but no, I went to like the big building where like the end of the movie where they go to fight, Gozer and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Spook
It's
Central.
like right there. It's amazing. I have a picture of it because I went
Nice.
because of all things like I just went nuts. And then like I saw the new trip like, the new trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife dropped today,
Oh my
and
God! Like, I teared up a little bit. It looks really fucking good.
oh man, Thanksgiving can't come soon enough, man.
This is the only time I've been excited for Thanksgiving is to go see Ghostbusters.
And I saw like, and it's and then somebody leaked the toys, and it's got everybody but it's everybody but Hell Ramis is in it too. Like Bill Murray goes back, I've heard talk already that Ernie was doing it already, and then at the very end of the trailer, they call the number, and the guy goes, "We're closed," and that's fucking Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd.
it's
Uh,
raise a cult.
yeah, it's right. No, it literally is Raise a Cold Shop. Yeah, no, it's we're the idiot. We're
Yeah,
the weird nerds that would really recognize. I was like, I recognize it right about. Like, I just went, that's Raise a Cold Shop.
yeah. I love raise a cult shop. I wanted to see like the entire shop. I mean, I'm pretty sure they just used some random shop in New York to
Oh, I'm
film
sure
in.
they found like some random bookstore, and then they planted a couple of spots.
Yeah, but let's drop down from New York all the way down to America's Dick, Florida. Uh, um,
Oh, and
so,
wait. Sally Cinch is in the chat. Hey, Sally, how's it going?
hey, Sally. So all the way down to Florida. There's no shortage of eerie instances running amok at the St. Augustine Lighthouse. So much so that ghost hunters even paid the spot a visit. Past lighthouse keepers, as well as two sisters who died on the premises, still apparently roam the structure. Staff members have also allegedly reported finding doors mysteriously unlocked after returning in the morning. Ooh. So, I mean, like, haunted lighthouse, like, I don't know. I think that, like, I think a lighthouse, yeah, definitely a lighthouse could be a very haunted place, but a lighthouse has only been scary in one movie, and it was The Lighthouse.
Oh, there's the fog. The fog had some lighthouse stuff going on in it.
Yeah, The Fog, but man, have you seen The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and
Oh, it's
what's his
amazing.
face?
I love that fucking film. It defies description, which is what amazing. I love it because like what's that movie about? A lighthouse? I
I don't
can't
even know
really
how
give
to
it
tell
a
you what that movie's about.
yeah. That's like a well, what does that mean? I go. I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain
but
this to you. It's really good.
I'm looking at it right now. You can go on tours of the St. Augustine Lighthouse. It's a maritime museum. So I guess they're
Well,
going to tell you more about stories of the lighthouse and maritime stuff than they are going to tell you about ghosty stuff. I'm
well,
sure they
Saint
do
Aug-
ghost tours though.
yeah, well, Saint Augustine's one of the oldest like cities, and like has I think it's the oldest
Oh yeah,
mission
it's
in
the oldest city
America.
in America.
Yeah, so doesn't surprise me that there's going to be some spooky stuff coming out of that way.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I have not been to St. Augustine as of yet. Uh, I still got like a ton of stuff in Florida. I still got to go visit just cause. But yeah, St. Augustine had already kind of been on my list because of the old, just like I wanted to sit in the history for a minute. Because it's the oldest actual. I mean, there's some older settlements, quote unquote, but they're just like you have to dig under the dirt to find what's left of it. While St. Augustine still has walls standing and things like that, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know about ghost stuff, but still be fascinating. Um, let's keep talking about New York because I can. I want to talk about what they affectionately called. It's called the House of Death. Bum bum bum. It's off West 10th, and it's been called the most haunted building in New York. The most haunted, and not just New York City, but New York. Um, with as many as 22 ghosts calling it home. Some interesting facts about the house itself is like Mark Twain actually lived there between 1900 and 1901 and claimed that he himself experienced supernatural incidents. Throughout the 20th century, the West Tenth house has had several gruesome incidents, including a murder suicide happened there, and the beating death of a 6-year-old child at the hands of her adopted father. Uh, adopted father who was a prominent attorney back in 1987. Supposedly, even the ghost of Mark Twain is said to haunt its stoop, as it were, even though he
Hmm.
died far later, nowhere near that house. But interesting.
No, that's where he decided to go.
I mean, I guess he is. I mean, it's Mark Twain. He just, oh, fuck it. Just nobody will believe I'm from here.
We
But
all
yeah,
knew Mark Twain got into a blimp and flew up to Halley's Comet.
that's right. It's true.
I've seen that.
He,
I have the documentary on DVD.
yeah. But yeah, so the House
Interesting.
of Death.
Yeah. Nice. House of Death. You know, that just sounds like a nice place.
Doesn't it though? Doesn't it?
So where was this one? West Virginia? Yes.
Mountain Mama, take me home.
Yep. And I'm gonna say this wrong, I'm sure, but designed to house 250 souls, the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, constructed between 1858 and 1881, is the largest hand-cut stone masonry building in North America and is purportedly the second largest in the world, next to the Kremlin. Ooh. It was designed by the renowned architect Richard Andrews following the Kirkbride plan, which called for a long, rambling wings arranged in staggered formation, assuring that each of the connecting structures received an abundance of therapeutic sunlight and fresh air. The original hospital, designed to house 250 souls, was opened to patients in 1864 and reached its peak in the 1950s with 2,400 patients in overcrowded and generally poor conditions. Changes in the treatment of mental illness and the physical deterioration of the facility forced its closure in 1994, inflicting a devastating effect on the local economy from which it has yet to recover.
Okay.
So that's more about how like it just went to shit and less about how it's haunted.
It haunts our dreams. I don't know what's going on. Hey, and our good friend Lex is in the chat. How's it going, Lex?
What's up, Lex?
Yeah. I will talk about something that's actually haunted. So I want to talk about St. Mark's Church in the Bowery, and that's what it's officially called, St. Mark's Church in the Bowery. Is the second oldest church in Manhattan, splitting from the Trinity Church back in 1799. It was actually built on the Dutch colonial governor's family farm, Peter Stuyvesant. Uh, and legend has it that the actual cantankerous peg-legged Dutchman, because that's also fun to say, peg-legged Dutchman. That sounds like a weird sexist position. You ever tried the peg-legged Dutchman?
That sounds pretty kinky.
Doesn't it though? Supposedly he still haunts the area. He's been known to harass the clergymen and parishioners, ring the bells, loudly interrupt services by stomping around and singing Calvinist hymns in Dutch. Apparently, because he doesn't care for the English stuff, so he sings in Dutch. So yeah, St. Mark's Church in the Bowery.
Sorry, I was I found one that was pretty interesting, but it just a lot of the stuff goes to their website. But so this one's not even on land. It's the RMS Queen Mary in Long Beach, California.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You'll need your sea legs and a bit of bravery to board this haunted vessel, which coincidentally ran its last voyage on Halloween in 1967.
Yeah,
Now currently docked in
it's
Long Beach, California,
yeah.
the RMS Queen Mary is believed to host spirits of deceased crew and passengers from its 31-year tenure at sea. Now, I went to the website for it and found, it's called Attractions at Night. When the sun goes down, the spirits aboard the Queen Mary come out to play, explore the legendary ship with a series of tours that explore the haunted past and paranormal activity that the Queen Mary is known. So one of the things is Illusions of the Past, and it's a magic show from Aidan Sinclair.
Oh, okay.
Then you can do Dining with the Spirits. Enjoy a first-class group dining experience with the award-winning Sir Winston's restaurant and lounge menu before rolling up your sleeves and going on a fun and spooky haunted history tour like no other. Paranormal ship walk. You can learn about the history, see the haunted locations. discover hotspots, and paranormal investigations. Long regarded as the world's most haunted ship and declared by Time Magazine as one of America's top 10 most haunted. You can just walk around the ship with a para investigator and see if you can find some ghosts.
Yeah, you can rent the place out for parties.
Oh yeah,
And I think you can stay because I think you can actually
that's
I think you can actually stay there if I remember correctly. Or at least you used to be able to almost like a hotel is like you can stay at on the Queen Mary because it's
yeah.
like it's permadocked there in California. So yeah, no, it's like yeah, it's interesting to go. I guess I don't know. I mean, like ships are alright. I always feel kind of cramped in a ship. Lex saying let's rent it out and do a seance group trip. That could be fun. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'd be down to go to LA again. I mean, just in general. But there are closer places. Or well, but there's also some weird, cool shit in Texas too. There's a haunted catfish restaurant in Texas, just outside of
hell
Waco.
yeah. Haunted catfish.
No, legit. It's considered the most haunted place in Texas. I'm not looking it up because we're not talking about Texas, but like there is like it was like for a long time it was considered the most haunted place in Texas. Was like this weird catfish restaurant just outside of Waco. Yeah, what they don't tell you is the catfish gives you a little indigestion, which makes you feel the spirits. Hey,
Mm,
um,
yeah, and those deathly smells and weird noises are actually from people.
oh yeah. I mean, you fuck up the plumbing, that happens. Um, just saying. So let's once again keep talking about New York because that's what I decided to look up today. So imagine, if you will, in the winter of 1800, the body of a young woman named Guiama Sands was found at the bottom of the Manhattan Well at what is now 129 Spring Street. The ensuing trial was become one of the great scandals of the 19th century New York, with Levi Weeks, who is the brother of the influential builder Ezra Weeks, accused of her murder after he reportedly impregnated and promised to marry her. Weeks retained the city's top attorneys, who included aforementioned Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, and he was acquitted because they're really good lawyers. Um, Despite growing public outrage. Yeah. So in 1817, the well was actually filled in and built over, but it was rediscovered back in 1980 and has become a notorious destination for paranormal enthusiasts who say they've seen the ghosts of Sands in the area. Bum bum bum. So yeah, this dude, Levi Weeks, the O.J. Simpson of his time, for lack of a better term, uh, hired his own personal Johnny Cochran and Robert Kardashian in the form of Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, and they got him off. Like, not, I mean, legally speaking. I mean, I don't know what they did behind doors, but I don't think that anything else happened. But yeah, and so it was like it was all the rage then, and so since then, yeah, and so supposedly when they rediscovered the area back in 1980, people keep saying they see stuff.
Hmm,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they keep saying they see stuff. I wonder if they're really seeing stuff. No, they probably are. Who knows?
yeah.
So let's make our way down to one of my favorite places, probably one of your favorite places too. Well, that little town nobody's ever heard of, where we said that if we lived there, we would probably die of
Die,
alcohol poisoning.
or the food would kill us because of the liver, or just like our livers would die either from alcohol or from food. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, down to New Orleans. So New Orleans is just a haunted city, but
Yeah.
there's places in particular. So this place, named for its master, Madame Marie Delphine Lalaurie, who even inspired a character on American Horror Story Coven, this
Yeah.
French Quarter fixture gets referred to by locals simply as the Haunted House. The mansion earned its moniker after a fire broke out in 1834, which exposed part of the home where 7 enslaved people had been bound in chains and starved. Moans from these people are still said to resonate within the home, which is now privately owned. While you won't be able to step inside and see for yourself, you can make a pit stop through a New Orleans ghost tour. And fun fact, Joe and I did take a haunted horse ride, or like a historical horse ride through the quarter, and that was one of the places we stopped at. And apparently, Nicolas Cage owned it for a while.
Yeah, that's what
He
I
heard it was haunted, bought it, never really stayed there, and then sold it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like the last live hootenanny, which is so the night, like the Thursday before everything got started, was like there was like the meet and greet dinner of all the performers, which I went to, and then afterwards, somebody had a friend who was a ghost tour guide and took us on tour privately for all the participants who wanted to. So like myself, Sally Cinch, who's in the chat, was a part of it as well. And so we get to walk with the guy who really told us, who got basically was like he gave us a really cool tour, but because he was like, all right, cool, I know you guys, so we sat in front of that house for a while and talked about the different stuff going on, and it's crazy. Like he talks, like they talked about how there's one portion where you could, like people just talked about how like that and like how the things like there were parties going on. Like um, the rumor has it that the parties they would have at that house, both inside and outside, that's kind of why how New Orleans basically just started partying like 24/7 is because of that sort of stuff. Like there was a fire in the house, and rather than stopping the party, they just went out. They took all the shit out into the street to keep partying while the fire was being dealt with, and
Yeah,
to
no,
disguise
that was one of the
and
things
to
they told us on the tour we went on about Bourbon Street. It was like basically a party started here 200 years ago and never stopped. And that was a week before they closed
everything
down
shut down.
Bourbon. Yeah. So that was really fucking surreal.
Yeah, but no, it
But
was
in
fun
general,
to.
like just New Orleans, like it's a haunted city. Like, you know, it's got a weird, crazy past. It's got a lot of different religious practices. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, death, destruction, corruption. Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff goes on there. I mean, hell, that one bar. There's a bar on Sixth or on Bourbon Street that was on a bar makeover or whatever, and it was a haunted bar, and it used to be a barber shop, and they said that you could feel somebody messing with your hair if you sat in a certain barber chair, and they had it up at the front. But I think they were charging to sit in it, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, it's fair. I wouldn't do that because
Otherwise, if it
go.
was free, hell yeah, I would have sat down. I don't give a shit. But
Yeah, if they're
yeah,
charging for you, it means it's gimmicked. That fucker's gaffed.
yeah, there's like a lighter jet or something that blows in your hair. Yeah.
There's something. Yeah, that's gaffed, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't. I admire the hustle,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
just
Also, I'm not gonna pay to sit in a chair. That's stupid.
there are much better chairs to sit in
Yeah.
that cost money. I can buy. I can get a chair where I can sit and see a show.
Yeah. No, there was a stool at the bar that was free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're into the weird sex shows, there's chairs you can sit there if you get a little bit more entertainment. At least you know that they're fucking you over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Live sex show. They're still fully clothed though. Enjoy.
Well, I've lasted.
If you
Well,
go to
it's
the
been a while
popular
since
ones.
huh?
If you go to the popular ones. If you go to the hidden
Oh,
ones, it's different.
oh man, like, it's been a long like. See, last time I went to those things was in the '90s, and no, there wasn't. They weren't hiding
Mm.
shit in the '90s, so yeah, you saw everything.
I've never gone to a live sex show at a club, but I've been to a lot of weird parties.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Very very true. Uh, Uh, Speaking of horrible segues, let's talk about another haunted location. I want to talk about the LaFair Laidlaw House, which is in Wallabout, right here in New York City. Once again, it's an 1840 Greek Revival home, a stone's throw away from Brooklyn Navy Yard, which actually isn't terribly far from me. But it may hold a sinister secret. Bum bum bum. You see, one December evening in 1878. The resident, Edward F. Smith, reported to hearing a knocking at his door. Went to answer. There was no one there. Of course, the knocking persisted, and while the back doors and windows were violently rattled and banged, the unknown tormentor continued harassing Smith until he called the police. Because this was a time period where he could, and it's a nice house, so he could afford to have a thing. So when the cops staked out the area, someone or something hurled a brick through the dining room window, despite the fact that multiple officers were standing right outside. Like,
Hmm.
brick went through the window, but there was guys who didn't see anything. Um, Now, the New York Times later reported on the incidents, and it's become kind of a weird hotspot for curious ghost hunters and spiritualists who like to hold seances on the sidewalk uh, because basically Smith won't allow anybody in his house, saying they won't get in here. The spiritualists, we consider ourselves perfectly able to take care of any ghost that comes along. So basically, it's not so like it's haunted by things trying to get into his house, not because they're trying to get out, like most hauntings, which is really
Hmm.
interesting. So
Interesting.
yeah, I thought so.
And I found one, and I started reading about it a little bit, and then I found a whole bunch of them in this one spot. Somewhere I definitely want to visit eventually. Even though like the sun is my enemy, I would love to go check out Hawaii.
Oh yeah, well Hawaii's a very different sort of thing, so I'm down for
Yeah,
Hawaii. Although that means
yeah. I
visiting
want
my
to go see like,
brother.
huh?
It means me visiting. Don't get me, I love my brother, but I don't. I think me like my brother is basically the reason why I have so many rules, considering how I do all my quote unquote extracurricular activities, is because I watched him go do it wrong and bad. So I go, all right, cool. How to not do shit? That's my brother. So, but I'd still want to go. I just visit a different island than him.
Yeah, that makes sense. But the place I found initially was Iolani Palace. I'm probably saying that wrong. Hawaiian is like it's a very interesting language. But from scary sounds to unexplained apparitions, Iolani Palace reigns high with paranormal activity. Built in 1882, the meticulously restored palace was once home to Hawaii's last ruling royalty, King Kalakua, and his sister Queen, whoa, Queen Liliuokalani, cool, who was imprisoned in the palace within her bedroom for 8 months following the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy. Although the queen physically passed away in 1917, it is believed that her spirit, along with a few others, are still roaming the halls of the royal home. Visitors on tours and security guards on duty have reported hearing footsteps, smelling the scent of burning cigars, and seen the silhouettes of women standing in the window of what was once the queen's bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, just a haunted palace in Hawaii. But this was
Yeah,
also before it became an American territory, so I don't know if that's really American or not.
it's close enough. I mean, the St. Augustine stuff. We talked about the lighthouse in St. Augustine. You could argue to say that was also pre-America as well.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff we talked to, like there's a couple of, I mean, the moral, yeah, the Morris house. The stuff that maybe premiered, like the ghosts that came through it, are older than America. So I don't know. Who knows? But no, it's still fine. It's still an area that we have. Let's talk about. There's actually a restaurant here, or at least it was here. I don't know if it's still around. Uh, But originally, it was, the name of the restaurant is called One If by Land, Two If by Sea. It's actually in a former carriage house that was built in 1767 and once belonged to Aaron fucking Burr. Because that's how it works. Apparently, he likes to run around and do stuff bad. Supposedly, he actually haunts this dining establishment, as does his daughter Theodosia, sorry, who actually disappeared at sea on a schooner off the coast of North Carolina back in 1813. Diners and restaurant employees have reported paranormal activity, such as getting shoved by an invisible hand, paintings fall off the walls, flickering lights, plates flying around, even earrings pulled from ears. Um, Here's the weird sort of thing. Also, Eatery also appears as number 5 in Architectural Digest's most romantic restaurants in the world. And movie buffs will want to know that there was actually a private upstairs dining area that was once the actor Steve McQueen's apartment. So yeah, a haunted restaurant.
Interesting. We've
Yeah,
got some haunted. Well, we got a haunted restaurant here in Houston. Well, we
yeah,
had
Spaghetti
one. It's
Warehouse.
gone now. Huh?
I mean, the building's still there, but yeah, it's Spaghetti Warehouse. Yeah, it's haunted.
Yeah. Oh, my computer's acting stupid. But where'd it go? I'm gonna save that one for you. There we go. So, Fall River, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's actually an Airbnb now, but this isn't your standard New England B&B. The haunted home was the site of two violent murders in 1892. Lizzie Borden's father and stepmother. Many placed the blame on Lizzie herself, who was tried and later acquitted of her case. Brave souls can book in an overnight stay, blah, blah, blah. For those who don't know who Lizzie Borden is, Lizzie Andrew Borden was an American woman tried and acquitted of the August 4th, 1892 axe murders of her father and stepmother in River Falls, Massachusetts, or in Fall River, Massachusetts, excuse me. No one else was charged in the murders, and despite ostracism from the residents, Borden spent the remainder of her life in Fall River. She died of pneumonia at age 66, just days before the death of her sister Emma. The murders and trial received widespread publicity throughout the United States, and along with Borden herself, they remain a topic in American popular culture to the present day. So yeah, the place where Lizzie Borden allegedly murdered her parents, you can just go stay the night there, and I kind of want to now.
I'm double checking something, but I think we may know some people who live in Fall River. But I'm double checking to make sure they live there before I just say something dumb and go, "Yeah, so and so people live there." But I want to say where. But there we go. Yeah, Fall River, Massachusetts. Very interesting. We actually have mutual friends. Uh, the Finnegan Circus are from there.
Ah,
Yeah, I double checked to make sure that's what. Yeah, I thought so. It sounded familiar. Sally, they were Sally just because I think they just sold it. I was there in the 80s. I think they're trying to sell the house and turning it into like that sort of stuff, but I don't know if it's happened yet. I remember reading about it not that long ago, and I would look it all up, but nah. We don't do real research here. We just kind of half-assed do it. The last I heard, I knew they were trying to.
yeah, I mean, like, we just kind of half-ass it here. Like, the website I'm on is countryliving.com, most haunted places in America. Just finding a place, and then I go to another website to kind of look at it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I try to find something that jogs my memory, and then I go, oh yeah, this sort of thing. So yeah, but still, Fall River. Actually, that's not terribly far from that. Yeah, I need to make my way to Massachusetts to go do that. Go to Salem and stuff like that. Just go check that shit out. Um, just because it'd be a lot of fun. But another thing I want to talk about, and just that sort of stuff, is I want to talk about the New Amsterdam Theater. So once again, I can't go anyway. Like just like haunted restaurants, haunted theaters are a very big thing. Um, New Amsterdam Theater, which is now it's leased by Disney. It boasts ritual. It's like it's actually Broadway's oldest theater, and is an official landmark. It was built in 1902, 1903. Also said to actually have its own resident ghost, uh, who is a Ziegfeld Follies girl by the name of Olive Thomas. And at some point, she was actually known as the most beautiful girl in New York City. That was it before she died in 1920 at the age of 25 after swallowing a lethal dose of mercury bichloride pills that her husband, Jack Pickford, who is the brother of Mary Pickford, famous actress, he was using taking those pills to treat his syphilis. Yeah. Supposedly, the ghost of Olive Thomas, has been spotted hanging out both on stage while stuff's going on, and even backstage of the theater. So they actually have a specific ghost that they name and talk about. So yeah,
Interesting. Hmm. So I found one. This seems pretty interesting, especially with like the multitude of stuff. You ever heard of Barahack Settlement in Pomfret, Connecticut?
no, but if you hum a few bars, I can figure it out.
Yeah. Once a village of Welsh settlers, this set of ruins in Pomfret, Connecticut, is now nicknamed the Village of Ghostly Voices for its infamous paranormal activity, which includes rumors of bizarre sounds and visits from creepy creatures. Though it was once a tourist attraction for ghost hunters and teens looking for thrills, it is now currently closed to the public. So the story behind this place is down Old Hart Path in the woods of the Ragged Hills section of Pomfret, Connecticut, lie the remains of the small community, blah, blah, blah. Around 1790, Obadiah Higginbottom and Jonathan Randall, those are some old school names,
Jonathan
both
Random,
relocated their family. What's that?
just Jonathan Random, just
Yeah, he's got two first names. And Obadiah Higginbottom, or Higginbotham, sorry. Like, it's nowadays he would just get made fun of, but not then. That's a strong name for 1790. But yeah, Obadiah and Jonathan both relocated their families from Cranston, Rhode Island to the unsettled forest outpost in Pomfret. In honor of their shared Welsh heritage, they named the new settlement Barahack, which means breaking of bread in Welsh. Higginbottom and Randall opened Higginbottom Linen Wells, a company that blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Um, legends grew within the town, including tales told by the Randall family, slaves of a ghost baby who could often be seen reclining in a nearby tree. However, Barahack did not flourish long. Economic hardships and the death of the founding family soon drove the remaining residents away. By some accounts, Barahack was abandoned by the time of the Civil War. It was definitely abandoned by the turn of the 20th century when day trippers started to make their way to the picturesque ruins of the settlement. Ruins quickly developed a reputation among amateur paranormal investigators and believers for being haunted. There were reported sightings of the aforementioned ghost baby, a bearded face in the cemetery, and streaking lights and orbs. Otherworldly noises have also been reported, including the sounds of farm animals, horse-drawn buggies, and long-gone voices. Um, it's closed because too many people showed up, basically. But yeah, it's a little town that just got abandoned because there was a slave baby ghost.
slave
And
baby
slave
ghost. Yeah,
baby
that would
sounds
do it.
so harsh. That's God.
I saw Slave Baby open up for Quiet Riot back in like '94.
Yeah, slave
Um,
baby is like a fucking sludge band.
just, you know, just It's a horrible horror. But yeah, weird. Yeah, of all things, a slave, a weird ghost of a child is what haunted this stuff like that. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. If I heard a
Um,
baby crying in the woods, I'd probably leave too.
well, that's fair. I mean, we talked about the weird cryptid stuff last week, so it makes sense.
Mm.
It's just so the cryptids that pretend to be kids and then get up and eat your skin. Yeah,
Yeah, black-eyed
um,
children. Fuck those guys.
yeah. And the black eyed peas too. Fuck them too.
Yeah, fuck the
Will I
black-eyed
am
peas.
bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Fergie pissed herself once.
I'm sure she does it more than once. But on
Yeah, that's her
stage, yeah.
thing. Don't kink shame her.
I'm not kink. I'm just own it. We got a little bit of time. I'm gonna close out with one more, and if you got one more, great. If not, then that's fine too. I want to talk about the
Yeah, I think
Kreischer
we'll let you
House.
finish it off on this one.
Okay, cool. Kreischer House. Kreischer House, right here, it's gonna be right now in Staten Island. Is a Queen Anne Victorian style mansion that has like 25 rooms. It was built in 1885 by a German immigrant and the quote unquote brick factory baron Balthasar Kreischer. Some weird things that happened in there, like including things like one of Kreischer's twin sons actually committed suicide in the mansion, which explains why it's kind of spooky. Now, here's some other weird shit about this house beyond just the supernatural stuff. So in 2005, the property caretaker Joseph quote unquote Joe Black Young, who by the way was a hitman for the mob, murdered a
Checks
fellow
out.
mobster by the name of John McElvey inside the mansion, dismembered his body, and burned it in the basement's furnace. That happened. Now, over the years, visitors reported things like strange voices, lights emanating from various parts of the house, along with the ghosts of both Kreischer's sons as well as a former cook. Now, the Kreischer here's some other weird facts beyond that sort of stuff, which is crazy. The Kreischer house was also used as a filming location for Boardwalk Empire. I think that was the Commodore's house, if I remember correctly, that they used to film that with. Also, Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, science bitch, actually visited the house during an episode of the True TV series of like super into, which I'm super into this sort of stuff. So the Kreischer house, old ghosts and even new ghosts, which is kind of cool that finally we're talking about something that has new ghosts with the fucking mobsters. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so yeah, there we go, everybody. That's we're talking about haunted locations this time around. We'll come back and talk about haunted locations again some other time. Um, I have a haunted dog. Uh, Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's get some plugs out of the way. Do you have anything you want to plug, Skabz?
Man, I got nothing going on right now. August though, August when shit goes down.
Yeah. Well, keep track of social medias with Skabz. You get to know what's going on, especially in the Houston area. Myself, currently, I do the stuff here on Carney Show. Stay tuned. We got some fun stuff happening after this. Tomorrow, I've got the Devil's Hour, where I'm going to have Japanese breakfast as my light goes out because of the dog. Um, then I've got our good friend Danger Dave from the Stolen Stitches
Hell
and
yeah.
Miss Cherry Delight. In addition, on Thursday on the G Spot, I'm actually talking with Danger Dave because he's got a big show coming up on Friday. So we're going to talk about Sideshow. We're going to talk about weird stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then,
Nice.
tune in next week as we're going to be doing some more Gaffing the Truth. We're about to talk about what we're going to be doing next week, so make sure you tune in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. So, cheers, everybody. Be safe, be cool, be groovy, and as always, keep drinking, everybody. Bye.
I mean,